Morning. Somewhere, anywhere. In the USA. The start of a woman's day. But only the start. Because a woman is all things to all people. Clerk of the coffee, valet, presser, doctor of letters, and bills. Assistant chief, cook, bottle washer, artist, floor walker, purchasing agent, woman. The heart and center of the home and of the family. To her, this program is dedicated. Johnson's Wax presents Paging Women. Your hostess, Vivian Farrar.
Hello. Welcome to Paging Women. Because we women are very busy people, and because our homes are very important places, we're going to turn to our show today without wasting a minute. We're here to tell you about easier and better ways to make your home more pleasant and to make your life as a woman more complete. You know, no matter what its size, a home covers a great deal of ground. It's more than just four walls and a roof. It's what you put inside your home and the way you put it together that give it its warmth and its character. And so today we're going to meet one of the most famous interior designers in the country. Mr. William Paulman. Mr. Paulman is going to tell us how to make a living room more exciting and more livable. And we're going to see how an ordinary house plant can be taught to be its own babysitter when you're away on a trip. And then we're going to meet famous author and actor, Mr. Walter Slezak. He's going to give us some of his cooking secrets. And then we're going to talk about women's clothes, your own included. And here is the beautiful Venus de Milo. You know, it's said that she has the classic figure. And in addition, this is a classic work of art because its basic, simple lines have withstood the test of time. The fashions we're going to see today are classics, too, because they're styles that will withstand the test of time. To show them to their very best advantage, we've picked a beautiful building that is a modern classic. The new TWA terminal at the New York International Airport, with these smooth, clean lines, is a classic example of the best in modern architecture. This building is an example of how function and beauty can be perfectly combined. And the suits we are going to show you today are not only timeless, but they prove a very important point. Every woman has her own figure, and there is a correct cut of clothing to enhance each figure. In addition, we're going to give you tips on color, line, and texture in each of 3 basic sizes to help you look your very best. This is a classic modern suit, good for almost any time, season, or place. And the things that make it that way are its simple lines and proportions that follow and enhance the natural shape. This suit will stay in style for a very long time. This particular fabric is a blue and white wool tweed with navy blue trim. It features a Peter Pan collar and bracelet-length sleeves. You're looking at the junior figure, and now here is the Mrs. figure. Her jacket is white. The skirt and the buttons are black, as is the tie at the neck. The fabric is silk and worsted. Regardless of which of the 3 basic figure types you are, this particular suit comes in the proper size and proportion to show your figure at its very best. And now here is the 3rd basic type, the woman's figure. This is a linen suit in a lovely rose wine shade, and there is a correct balance between the jacket and the skirt. The effect of each of these 3 suits is the same, beauty through keeping it simple. But now let's take a look at some of the ideas that can help you get the most out of your own figure through color, line, and texture. You'll notice that although our models are different sizes and they look as though they're wearing different suits, they're actually all wearing the same suit, and so am I. With a few minor variations, it's a classic style by Jack Sarnoff, designed by Molly. You'll notice that the junior suit is all one color to give the illusion of greater height. You must look for the lighter or the medium tones to increase your height. The collar stands away from the neck to frame the face, and it's lovely with both long and short hair. Because the Missy's figure is the average ideal, and it can get away with almost anything, it's wearing contrasting colors today. You'll notice that the skirt is subtly shaped, not too tight. There are no gimmicks on this suit to put it out of fashion after 1 year. It just has a lovely, smooth shaping to it. Now, in the woman's figure, you'll notice that the line of the jacket blends with the silhouette of the skirt. The color of the fabric is darker, and the fabric itself has a flat or an unshiny finish to give a trimmer look to the figure. Now, let's take a look at all three figures again. Remember, the essence of good fashion is simplicity. So if you look for an outfit that is basic and simple and timeless, you'll have a classic suit, and that means you'll have a good investment. These suits are just one example. Regardless of the price range in which you find it, a suit should be proportioned to fit your figure, whether it be junior, women's, or misses. The size number is not important, but the cut and the fit are. So look carefully, and you won't have to worry about fashion changes from year to year. Have you ever decided to turn your living room upside down and start all over again? Well, every once in a while I get that impulse, but it usually gets me into trouble. For one thing, I never know where to begin. For another, I find that many of the things I want just cost too much. That's why our special guest today is Mr. William Paulman, one of the world's outstanding interior designers. Hello, Mr. Paulman. We're delighted to have you with us.
I'm delighted to be here, Vivian. Thank you.
You're welcome. At the moment, William Paulman is designing the interiors of the new 800-room President Hotel in Hong Kong. In addition to that, he's doing 2 elegant ballrooms in the New York Hilton. Bill, let's get down to the main question. Is it possible to decorate tastefully and still stay within a modest budget?
Indeed it is.
How would you define good taste?
Well, taste is appreciation, stemming from knowledge and experience. I call it educated appreciation.
Can you give us some idea of what the very first step should be?
Well, I think you should analyze what you want out of the house. How are you going to use it? Who's going to live in it?
Do you have any special guideposts to arranging the furniture?
Well, there are 5 rather basic rules in room arrangement. I brought these sketches along. While they're not typical, they do serve as an illustration of what I like to get across. The first thing is how to get in and out of a room, a traffic pattern. There is an entry here. There's room between the chairs to get to the sofa. There's plenty of room around this great lacquer table to get to this chair and this ottoman. And I think it's a rule that everyone should follow, is to study such a traffic arrangement in a house, in every room.
Not clutter the entrances and exits, in other words.
They should not.
Oh, this is a lovely room.
Well, that's another one of my points I like to bring out, is a focal point. Every room should have 1, sometimes 2, but not too many. But this one focal point is in a bedroom, is gained by using a very fancy headboard, rather Spanish in feeling, plus a large mirror and a group of 6 prints.
Could this be used in some other room or also besides the bedroom?
Of course it could. You can take the mirror and the 6 prints and put it over a credenza or a great chest and have the same effect.
Do you have trouble with some of your people wanting over-dramatic rooms?
We certainly do. We call those sort of knock-'em-dead rooms. And at first glance, you might possibly think this is one.
Oh, yes.
But this was done for a couple who love to hunt. They go on safaris and they bring back things like these water buffalo skulls. But you see the traffic pattern is still good. But this room is very livable. It's for reading, eating, drinking, and even playing.
Can you fit a desk into a living room?
This table, when on and used as dining, could be a work area here. But in the next sketch,
here's the desk.
You will show the desk, find the desk, put in a window. It could be put flat against the window, but there's plenty of room. It doesn't spoil the traffic area by putting it at right angles to the window.
And now, how about the problem room? Let's say the long, narrow room.
The problem rooms are always with us, particularly if you are working in some of the new modern apartments. And, of course, some of the new houses have problem rooms, too. In this case, the problem was everything being horizontal, so we wanted a vertical treatment on the walls. They could be wallpaper panels, or they could be paintings. They could be Chinese panels, but used vertically. And you'll notice here, in this area, we use a vertical pattern on the curtains.
You know, today we have a sample room to test out all of your ideas. Shall we go take a look at it?
I'd like to very much.
Okay, just follow me. Well, here we are, Bill, in our sample room. Do you have any suggestions for us?
The sofa is so isolated. It's a pity it isn't closer to this chair so it would form a conversational group. And I find no focal points at all. It's pretty much a shambles.
I see.
Take the traffic pattern. I find this pretty cluttered, don't you?
Yes, I do. It looks as though you'd have to be a broken field runner to get through that.
And look at our work area, right here, smack in the middle of the traffic pattern again. And also what disturbs me is the way that the pictures are all lined up horizontally to give the room a little bit longer look than it need have.
This, of course, is the incorrect way you've pointed out. How do we go about correcting it?
You want to see how it's done?
Oh, I'd love
Let's
to see.
take everything out.
All
Just
right.
clear the room.
Well, this certainly gives us a fresh start. Where do we begin, Bill?
Well, first, that long credenza, which was on that wall, I'd like to see it at this end of the room.
All right.
A long piece of furniture like this usually makes a room appear wider.
Yes, it really does. Well, what's our next step?
Let's establish a conversational grouping. In this case, it becomes the focal point of the room.
All right. I bet everybody wishes they could move furniture this way, Bill. Oh, this arrangement is lovely.
And notice how the people on the sofa and in the chairs can converse easily. And we've added 2 open-back chairs to lend more airiness to the room, except this chair must be moved over to provide easy access to the sofa. You know, the traffic pattern must be kept.
Oh, yes, I remember that point well. And then this area rug kind of ties everything in. And this nice big cocktail table is right within everyone's reach. How about the desk, Bill? Where will that go?
I'd like to see it over there in the window area.
That desk not only looks better there, but it's right in the light from the window.
And it's out of the main area where one can concentrate.
Well, that's an important consideration. Now, how about our television set?
It would be best opposite the sofa so everyone could see. Let me show you.
Okay.
And you see we have broken the horizontal look of the wall with a vertical bookcase. And also note the splash of color of the chair. It breaks up the monotony of too much wood on that wall.
It looks very pretty there. What are we going to do, though, about all these pictures now that are off-center? Can we take care of those as easily as we took care of the
We
furniture?
certainly can. Let's just get rid of them. And now for a better arrangement. You see the new arrangement has more of a vertical appearance rather than that old scattered sort of horizontal look. And we do have a rather isolated work area in the desk. And we have, I think, a very successful conversational grouping here around the large cocktail table.
Well, the room looks lovely, Bill. Bill, we hear so much about how accessories give a room its personality. Can you tell us something about that?
I'd like to very much, because accessories give a room the atmosphere, the aura, particularly pertaining to the mistress of the house who dictates this sort of thing and who collects them. I'm a great believer in collecting nice objects, but they're not necessarily expensive, but they should be selected for their scale and their good looks. And they should have some quality about them, of course.
Have you anything else you'd like to tell us?
Yes, there's one thing I'd like very much to get across, that if ever in doubt, you're not quite sure, always keep it simple.
William Paulman, thank you so much for coming to visit with us today. You've given us some good basic hints on how to liven up our living room.
I've been happy being here, and I thank you very much for asking me.
Plants can be so beautiful around the house that they really are a very important part of better living. They bring in life and color, kind of bring nature right into the house. But they also bring problems along with them. However, fortunately with plant problems, they can be easily solved with just a little common sense and some expert advice. So today we're going to bring you the case histories of 3 typical housewives and their plant problems. Case history number 1, the case of anxious Anna. Anna is affectionate, loving, But she's terribly worried about her plants because she's going away on a 2-week trip and she just can't find a reliable babysitter for her little indoor garden. Well, you may not believe this, Anna, but this simple piece of cotton wicking is the best babysitter you can find for your plant. Now, after you've watered your plant, and be sure not to overwater, you wrap the piece of cotton wicking in the center with aluminum foil to prevent evaporation, and you put the exposed end in a quart of water like this, and insert the other end into the dirt of the plant. And presto, your plants will be watered while you're away. Now, if you don't have cotton wicking, you can use a piece of ordinary clothesline like this, provided you remove the sizing first. Oh, why, Anna, you look so much happier. I'm glad we were able to help you with your problems. And now let's take a look at case history number 2. It's the case of puzzled Pauline. You see, Pauline's plants seem to grow unevenly, and she just can't figure out why. Well, maybe it's because she forgets to turn her plants like this at regular intervals so that the light will equally hit all sides. Because you see, plants tend to grow toward the light, so if you don't keep turning them, you will have that problem. Why, Pauline, you look delighted. I'm glad that our simple idea was a help to you, Pauline. Now let's go on to our third case history. The case of cautious Carrie. Carrie is conscientious, sincere, but she's very sad because she just doesn't know how to cultivate her potted plant. Well, our experts tell us that you should loosen the soil of the plant as far away from the trunk of it as possible. Use a blunt fork or a dull pencil and cultivate just about 1 inch or so deep. Do this when the soil around the plant looks hard and crusty. Well, I hope that our staff experts have helped to solve some of your problems. I know that they've solved some of Carrie's because she looks so much happier. All of our case histories today have one common problem, and that is the question of what to do about bugs when they get on plants, even in the house. An aerosol house and garden type insecticide is the perfect answer, but it's important to the health of your plant that you follow the directions on the can carefully whenever you use one. Now, be sure to hold the can 12 to 18 inches away from the plant, like this. It's the ideal treatment for an indoor plant. But don't hold the can closer to the leaves. Don't soak them, because most sprays are cold as they come from the spray opening, and you could freeze the plant. That's why, if you spray too close, the leaves may turn brown and shrivel after a day or so. Now, let me demonstrate the correct way again. You'll notice that when I hold the can at the proper distance, this paper doesn't get wet, and neither does the plant, so there'll be no frostbite. But the bug-killing ingredients are on the leaves where they can get to work. Remember, if you can see that the plant leaves are soaking wet, you're too close, and you may be harming the plant. However, if that does happen, keep the plant watered. With the bugs gone, new green shoots may come along and save the day. There are so many products in aerosol cans these days that it's good to know how to get the most out of them. Let's take a look inside this spray-type aerosol can and see how it works. This is the product, and this is the compressed gas found inside all aerosols. It pushes down on the product and sends it up this little tube right out the spray opening in the button. Now, always try to hold the can as upright as possible, as the directions state, because if you don't, after you've used it for a while, this little dip tube might peek up out of the liquid, and then you'll just spray the gas. Many aerosols have a little dot on the can to show the way the spray opening should point. Now, sometimes after the can has been handled, this button turns around. And if the can is tilted when you press the button, you're likely to get no spray. If that happens, simply turn the button back to the marking dot, or if there is no dot, just give it about a half turn, and see if it doesn't spray. If you follow these ideas, you'll be getting the most for your money, and who doesn't want to do that?
Why,
Walter Slaysack, hello.
Why, Vivian, what an utter surprise.
Well, I see you've invaded our kitchen here and made yourself very much at home.
Yes, I plead guilty to that.
You know you're also guilty of keeping me up half the night.
I have? When?
Reading your new bestseller, What Time is the Next Swan?
What time's the what?
What Time is the Next Swan?
Oh, What Time is the Next Swan? That wonderful, marvelous book.
Oh, an interesting, funny book. I enjoyed every word of it.
You and 60,000 other readers, I'm happy to say.
Well, good. And you're
Yes,
writing another?
Yes, I'm with book again. And this book will have something to do with food. I will unveil some of my more favorite recipes.
Oh, well, then that's why you're here in the kitchen.
Exactly. You see, I've discovered something. Most women make very good cooks, but very few men make great chefs. I happen to be one of them. I'm a tremendous chef. You see, it is not a coincidence that all great restaurants hire men as chefs. They wear big, silly things on their head. I don't, because I don't need it.
You're very modest, Walter.
I am a modest man. I take pills.
What is your recipe today?
Today I'm going to cook Frankfurter goulash.
Frankfurter goulash. Well, I've heard of goulash, but with
Don't blanch, my dear. Frankfurter goulash is an unusual goulash. You see, it doesn't matter if a humble ingredient like a Frankfurter goes in it, as long as it is made with love, with affection, with a certain savoir-faire, and it will make a very, very aromatic dish.
Well, what goes into this aromatic dish, Walter?
Well, first of all, onion. Wonderful yellow onion. Then we have green peppers. 10 of those.
10? How many does this serve?
4, in my case 3. Grown-ups. Then we take tomatoes. Half a can of those. And then garlic. Garlic. Garlic? Oh, here.
Oh, I see you come prepared.
Every well-dressed man should wear garlic. Then the rest of your ingredients are shortening, Worcestershire sauce, a little cornstarch in case it gets too thin, paprika, Tabasco, salt, pepper.
And the Frankfurters?
Oh, the Frankfurters.
Even the very greatest chefs need a good retriever. Your hot dog, sir.
Thank you, my dear. Now, after the shortening, a few tablespoons is good and hot. We peel, cut, and fry the onions. After the onions turn brown, we add the garlic, 1 clove finely crushed. Sprinkle them with paprika and add our rough cut of green peppers. Then half a can of tomatoes. The seasoning. And finally we add our package of Frankfurters, which we've sliced, and we simmer for 4 or 5 minutes. And then we are ready to serve Frankfurter goulash, the true glorification of the lowly.
Oh, that smells marvelous. Looks delicious. May I have a taste?
No. You see, cooking is only a fragment of creating a masterpiece. The real artist becomes when you serve it properly in a romantic setting.
Walter, this is a masterpiece. It's absolutely delicious.
It's not only a masterpiece, it's even good. But you know, one of the most important things is whatever you serve with chic and elegance.
I agree. Walter, thank you so much for being with us today. We've enjoyed it immensely.
So did I.
Goodbye. Perhaps Walter Slezak has the right idea. No matter how lowly the ingredients of a dish may be, there's nothing to stop us from serving it with elegance and with romance. And who knows, maybe changing the whole atmosphere around the house. Well, we've been to some interesting places and we've met some interesting people today. And you know, there's a very wonderful booklet with tips on how to keep your home in top condition. It's called The Manual of Home Care. For your free copy, write to the Home Service Bureau, care of Johnson's Wax, Racine, Wisconsin. Our hope is that we've given you some new ideas on how to brighten your home and to make your busy days easier and more rewarding.
Paging Women has been brought to you by Johnson's Wax.